Hello, and welcome back to the Fae Banner Review, where we talk about units that most people probably didn't know existed in the first place. Although, in fairness, that could probably be said to any Fire Emblem character that isn't in Smash Brothers. And Reinhardt, I guess. Today, we have a brand new Binding Blade banner that has Binding Blade units on it, and someone who wishes they were from the Fire Emblem Binding Blade game. And as per tradition, I will be using this coveted line graph that may or may not be a line graph at the end of the day to rank the brand new Binding Blade banner. Today's ranking will be based on how many times I say the word stats in this video. That one doesn't count. And if you like words, especially the words that come out of my mouth, then make sure to subscribe to the channel so that I can continue saying things. I don't really have a joke to follow that up with. I would just appreciate it. First up, we have Ogier, and he's a sword infantry with a pretty unique stat line of a lot of attack, a lot of speed, and decent defense with bad res. Well, he wasn't shown off first in the trailer, but I want to start with him because I have the most to say about him. Let's see. He has Doubler Sword Plus, which grants visible stats at the start of the turn and stats during combat. And that's about it. He has inheritable skills that you can inherit to other units if you're into that type of thing. He has Luna, which is pretty cool, Speed Res Ideal, which is an A skill, and Close Call 3, which is pretty hype. Close Call 3 used to be the craziest skill when Marita was around because it reduced damage. But that was book 4, and this is book 8, soon to be book 9, so who cares when it's a readable skill? But now it's on an easily accessible demote, and by easily accessible, I mean pray to whatever god you worship that you have a chance at getting the demote you want in a reasonable amount of time. But yeah, Close Call that's more widely available, that's pretty cool. Ignoring the fact that %DR has been run into the ground and will basically do nothing in most scenarios because every unit either has a way to neutralize %DR entirely or have it, including 2 units on this banner, I'd say that's pretty good. And yeah, that sure is Ogier, I guess. I did like the part in the trailer where Ogier looked at the camera and said, "It's Ogier for you," and then marked everybody.
I can!
You can? What can you do?
Can!
Oh, okay. Next, there's Elffin, and he's a unit from the hit Fire Emblem game with the Fire Emblem Binding Blade game. Although that joke works well because it was only ever released in Japan. Also, there's no hit in that game. Let's see. He has Light of Etruria, which grants stats, but only to his res. Start of phase visible stats and Hexblade to himself and allies. Negative stats to attack and speed on any foe in range of him, as well as guard and exposure. Even more negative stats on the foe, but only for attack and speed. And enemy phase miracle. This was definitely not the type of weapon I'd ever see on a dancer, but it's kinda neat. Since he's so fast, he's not likely to fall in combat immediately unless it's against brave hitters, but that's pretty cool just on the basis of it being on a support unit. Except when it's Hathrin, because she doesn't die no matter what you do. Bro, what is this combat forecast? I guess they also had the idea of making him even more supported by putting effects in his weapon that would have otherwise been ran in his C slot, like Ploy, which is why he doesn't have that as a skill. However, he does have other dancer-related skills and support in Attack Res Cantrip and Infantry No Follow 4, which isn't a combination I think we've ever really seen before on a unit. Oh wait, but yeah, that sure is Elffin, and he could play that instrument, probably, I guess. I did like the part in the trailer where Elffin looked at the camera and said, "I, Elffin, had it with you," and then danced all over the foe's grave. After killing them, of course. Although I gotta wonder if that will realistically ever happen, because he set a new record for the lowest attack stat in Fire Emblem Heroes. Technically, it used to be Merlinus who also debuted with base 20 attack, but he can access more Dragonflyers, so Elffin has power crept to Merlinus, folks. Or I guess under power crept. Whatever term fits here, I don't know which would really apply. It's not like he has to enter combat anyway, but he's probably tanking and surviving more than 90% of the units in this game, which is pretty funny if you ask me. Except when it's Hathrin. This unit is not healthy, I swear to God. And then there's Lilina, and she's a unit named Lilina.
I've been supplementing my studies by learning from the mages in the Order of Heroes.
I don't think most units in the Order of Heroes can even use magic. Did you learn it from Ray or something? Because he starts out in Asker. Ray isn't that good at magic though, but you probably already knew that since he's from the Fire Emblem Binding Blade game.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. She has Arcane Truthfire, which has slaying, visible stats and warping, in combat stats, true stats, even more true stats, and special jumps for AoEs and first attacks during combat. She also has Gift for Magic, which is an area of effect special with built-in hardy bearing, 40% unpierceable damage reduction, and damage reduction shredding. Maybe she did take lessons from Ray after all. Gift for Magic? More like no gift for magic. Am I right? Laugh track. Oh, you're so funny. I don't know if you got the joke or not, but when I said she has no gift for magic, I'm actually saying she sucks. Okay, in fairness, she isn't really that bad, to be honest. To be quite H. Like, let's give her some credit. In the trailer, she's killing a blue unit with 25 base res. Are you gonna sit there and tell me that isn't impressive? Because I would agree. She also comes with a Cultist Strike, Attack Res Ploy, and Sly Mirror. Not to be confused with Remote Mirror, or Flared Mirror, or Surge Mirror, or Flash Mirror, or Mirror Impact. Wait, I already did this bit before. It's nice stuff to pass around, at least when inheriting her tome to a unit that is most likely worse than her. That weapon is also mostly the same as the other arcane weapon on the banner, with one effect difference, which is either really funny or really lazy, and I'm having a really hard time deciding which. Also, by the way, that axe got revealed first in the Tempest trial, so that's not a spoiler, technically. Maybe for the video itself, though. I don't know if that really counts. And other than that, it definitely is Legendary Lilina, but as an infantry unit, I guess. I did like the part in the trailer where Lilina looked at the camera and said, "I'm gonna burn you alive with my Mega Flame attack. Hyah!" And then broke several Geneva conventions in the process of setting Bernadetta on fire. Oh hey, Three Houses reference. And lastly, there's the rearmed OC lady that I finally learned the name of, because she said it herself in the trailer.
I am Fiatzi.
Now you guys can know when I mispronounce her name on purpose. Let's see. She has Arcane Giant Axe, which has Slaying, null negative stats to attack and defense, in combat stats, true stats, even more true stats, and a special jump of 1 before her first attack. She also has a PRF B slot in Brutal Ferocity, which grants Pathfinder, start of turn negative stats, and gravity on any cardinal foe, more stats but negative on the foe during combat, a guaranteed follow-up, null guard, and reduces damage reduction by 50%. Did Ray teach Fiatzi stuff too? Okay, to be fair to Giatzi, the effects in her B slot are pretty sick. Being able to inflict gravity during the turn means you could basically immobilize a lot of units not named Bray Felix. It shouldn't be able to be cleansed by units like Makai and Freyr because it could also be applied during the turn. It can't be cleansed by Bray Felix though. There is one slight, small, tiny, minuscule problem with the B slot though. It's a B slot, and that's where Shield Fighter belongs. If Brutal Ferocity were in her C slot instead, well, actually, that'd be bad too, because she needs to run save there, but if it were in her special, wait, that's also kind of bad, because she needs to run Aegis or Pavize with Shield Fighter B, but, you know, if it were in her A slot, actually, no, that would be bad too, because she wouldn't be able to run worse skills in that slot instead. Maybe this skill just sucks after all. At least the axe is pretty cool because it does things and other units can use said other things. It can beat an even older blue unit, which seems to be the running theme of today's trailer. She also comes with Earthfire Boost, which is pretty cool, Armored Beacon, which is a special, and Attack Defense Twin Near Save, which will not be in the permanent pool, unlike Close Call 3. It's nice to pass stuff around at least when inheriting her axe to a unit that's most likely going to be worse than her anyway. And yeah, that sure is Fiatzi, I guess. I like the part in the trailer when Fiatzi looked at the camera and said something that I cannot repeat in this video. And then proceeded to shove an Arcane Giant Axe up the foe's ass. Now the real question is, do you think she can survive against Bray Felix? It's a dumb question, but you probably gave it some thought anyway, you dummy. Boris is also in the game now as an instant demote, and there's really not much to say about that. Even less than Ogier, if you could believe that. He might have the same weapon as Ogier though, but in the form of Doubler Lance, which also grants visible stats and in-combat stats. Probably Wary Fighter as well, given that the foe isn't doubling him. Probably also Ignis because he's shown using Ignis. Unfortunately, Boris isn't on the banner, so he didn't have anything to say to the camera. But if I had to guess, he probably would have said something like, "My name is Boris and I do the tanky," and then sits there eating hits. You know, because he's an armor. I thought it was pretty funny, at least. And now that we've gone over the brand new Binding Blade units, I think it's time we rank them on the line graph that may or may not be a line graph at the end of the day. And would you look at that? The brand new Binding Blade banner has earned an 18 out of 10 on the line graph. What a remarkable score for such an unremarkable banner, but the line graph does not lie, folks. Congratulations to the Binding Blade banner for earning an 18. Which is most likely the total amount of people polling on that banner overall. And you may be wondering to yourself, should I be one of those 18 people and summon on the banner? And boy howdy, do I have the best answer in the world for that question. I'm not sure. Most of these units aren't bad by any means, but none of them are that amazing either. Also, keep in mind we have a lot of potentially highly valuable banners coming after this, including the Black Friday banner, the next one being a double mythic banner, followed by the Book 9 debut banner with a mythic on that, as well as the winter banner, and at the end of the year we have an emblem banner with a lot of high profile units. Yeah, it's a lot. I'm naming a lot of stuff because there's a lot of stuff to name. However, the double color share of this banner, having 2 rearmed units on it, is insanely good value, given one is a melee armor who could duplicate shield fighter, and the other one is an infantry mage, which allows you to duplicate all sorts of really cool stuff anyway, because infantry perks. So if you want the ability to pass around more skills, then this is probably the best time to try and do that. Otherwise, it's probably best just to save your orbs or spend it on the ninja banner instead. I am officially denouncing my previous advice. That banner has way better units on there, and by units I mean unit, and by unit I mean Lucina. Lucina is good. Go pull for her instead.
I'm still hard.